Data Discovery Essentials allows you to search for and remediate sensitive data stored in file shares and endpoints, Alfresco, Office 365, the Atlassian Suite, and Google Workspaces. Today I'm going to concentrate on Atlassian Confluence. Confluence is a web-based corporate wiki for disseminating information within an organization. You can create content directly within the application. You can also upload and attach files to the application, and you can link it to other applications as well, such as Lucid Charts for charting and other similar applications. And it's a collaboration tool for collaborating with other people within the business. So this makes it a potential source that sensitive data could be published to and leaked from the organization. So this is Confluence, and as we can see, we've got various spaces, and they can create pages within them quite simply. And if we look at some of the recent ones, I've got some pages of sample data and social security numbers and credit card numbers. So let's have a look at how Data Discovery Essentials can help us find and remediate this sensitive data. So we log into the web-based UI for DDE, and it shows us a dashboard overview. So it can show us the last search results, how many items we found which we're waiting for action to be taken, how many items we've alerted the owners of the data to, and we can drill down into these further as well. So we can drill down into those, and we can have a look at the files which were found, and it will tell us what the matches were. So it stars out the credit card number in this example, and we can do things about it. So as an administrator or an end user, we can say, this is a false match, or I have redacted, deleted the content, therefore I've remediated and removed the sensitive data. Or maybe I'm actually allowed to have this content. But this allows us to have that workflow to actually find and remediate the data. If a user says, I have redacted or deleted this content, next time we do a scan and we don't find that content anymore, then we tick that off as being resolved. Let's have a look at how easy it is to create a scanning task for Confluence. So as I mentioned, we can scan multiple different applications, endpoints and file server shares, and these cloud applications. But today we're just going to unselect them all and go for Atlassian. Now I can build a new task from scratch, or I can base it off an existing task. So maybe I've already created one and I want to tweak the settings, or I want to expand it. I can do that quite easily. But let's have a look at building one from scratch. So we give the task a name, find sensitive data, the priority we're going to use, and resources to actually scan it, and whether we're actually going to alert the end users when we find the sensitive data within their space. For Atlassian, we can then take some actions as well. So we might actually choose to add a label. So we could add a label of sensitive data found. Now that will tag the page with that label, and within Confluence itself, we can then search for those tags as well and find that data. We might just want to add a comment to the page. We might want to take a copy of the content. So we can take a copy of the page and put it in our risk management space within Confluence, or we might want to restrict the content. So maybe we don't want it available to everybody within the business. We want the owner to remediate the sensitive content and then make the rest of the content back available to everybody. Next is the patterns that we're looking for, so the types of data. And we can filter on particular types. We've got PCI, GDPR type data, passport numbers, credentials for logging into systems, or we could be looking at a particular country. So we might look at United Kingdom, and therefore we want to look for these types of data. I can quite easily select and unselect options there. So if we were looking for credit card data, for example, we can also look for custom patterns. We can have our own keywords that we're looking for, so keywords or key phrases in that data. We can add lists, and we can upload those lists. So maybe we've already got a file containing the risky terms that we want to search for. We can look for a file, so we can upload a file and say, find me similar files to this. So maybe it's board meetings within Confluence that we want to go and find. And we can use powerful regular expressions as well. And then we can test the regular expressions. We can also combine patterns. So we can look at, we're looking for PCI data and not looking for PII data as an example. But I'll just stick with a built-in pattern for now for PCI. Next we can say, what is the confidence level we want for these? So the confidence level will be something for like PCI data. High confidence is that we see a credit card number and an expiry date and a CVV number. That gives us a high confidence that it is actually credit card details versus another 16-digit string which matches the Lune algorithm. We can also say how many do we want to find. So maybe we expect the corporate card to be on a page, so we want to find everything with more than 2 or more hits. We can then say, do we want to look in all files or particular types of files? We can select them all. We can do some things around dates as well. Are we looking for stale and old data? And where in Confluence do we actually want to search? So we can search everywhere and also include the comments. So if somebody's added a comment to a page that contains the sensitive data, we can find that. Or we might just be looking in particular spaces within Confluence. So we can pick those individual spaces that we're interested in looking into. But for now, I'll just do search all spaces. And then we get a check. We can look at everything that we've configured for our search. And if we're happy with that, we can then save the search and we can then run the task. And then the task will start to run in a moment. But we can look at the previous ones as well that we ran earlier. So if I look at the previous tasks, we can filter on those as well. So maybe we only want to see the last time the task ran, and we're looking for the credit card data as an example, and we can apply that. And then we can come down to the report and we can see here are our credit cards, and it will give us the name of the file. It will give us the user who owns the file as well. And if we look down here, we can expand it and we can see it found a credit card and it found a CVV number and it found an expiry date. So that's a high confidence match against a credit card number. We then have some actions we can do. We can ignore it. So maybe that was the corporate card or corporate dummy details. That's fine. It was just testing. We can send an alert to the user who owns the space or the page the content was found on. And again, it will ask them to remediate it. We can flag it for performing future actions on it. And if a user tells us they've remediated it, we can then check it again and we'll go and scan the page for that content. So quite simple, quite straightforward to actually create a search for Confluence, and searching for actually content in any of the other supported applications is done in exactly the same way. So hopefully you found that useful. Thank you for your time.